I think there's less opportunity than there used to be, but that's not a reason not to come here and be part of all these amazing art scenes. Hi, I'm Chris Davis. I'm a comedian in Berlin. I do mostly like spots at showcases, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I love hosting shows. And then I do the Wandering Barman. I used to do the Wandering Barman very regularly. Now, this is just like a one-off thing that I'm doing. And this is my 1 hour solo show. How do I prepare for shows? So, go through my set a bunch of times, but generally, I kind of like to get out and about. As good as Eddie Izzard actually has good advice about prepping for a show. He says, don't stay indoors all day. Get out and about, see things, talk to people, because by the time you get on stage, you're going to be in that kind of fluid, kind of like socialized way, so that you can just like do your thing. If you buy a ticket for the Wandering Barman, each audience member gets a taster of what I'm doing at the onstage bar during the show. Usually here a few hours before the show, prepping the cocktails, batching the cocktails and putting them in little taster glasses. Mostly the Wandering Barman is kind of tailored to me sharing some of my stories of working in the bar industry in Berlin for so long. But I'd say in general, like when I do like stand-up comedy and just do my monologues, it doesn't relate so much to drinking and being drunk and kind of like the bar scene. It's kind of just me talking about my life, which is kind of what all stand-ups do. Not all stand-ups talk about Chris Davis's life, but all stand-ups talk about their life.
They should be talking about your life.
Everyone should be talking about Chris Davis's life. I came to Berlin in 2008, so that's like 17 years ago, and I've done a lot since then. I've worked for magazines, worked in loads and loads of bars, from dive bars to brothels to Michelin star restaurants, and then in between all that I've done like loads and loads of comedy. I've travelled doing comedy. I've done the Fringe Festival, I've been in New York, been to the UK, done a lot of it here, travelled around Europe, done festivals, done competitions. So it's been pretty like comedy heavy, to be honest, the stuff that I've done in Berlin. For anyone doing anything creative, the best advice I can give is just to keep doing it. It's really, really difficult if you expect something to come from it. So just keep doing it, whatever you're doing, and someone will eventually like it. I think that's like the long and short of it. And you might think sometimes, oh, this is going nowhere, no one's looking at stuff, no one's watching stuff. But that's something that will trip you up. That's like a real self-doubt negative thing. At this stage, it just seems like second nature. I think maybe at the very beginning, I was doing it perhaps for ego purposes. I was getting a good feeling of affirmation and validation from these like rooms full of strangers. But now I think I feel a bit lost when I don't write or I don't perform. I kind of question, well, what am I doing?
Do you think it's still possible for artists and really creative people like yourself to come to Berlin and live here, given, you know, the rise in rents and all that?
So, short answer, yes. Long answer, no, because I think 17 years ago, which is a stint of time, right? It was much cheaper. It was just simply much cheaper, and there was more artists. I have seen the change in Berlin move towards startup stuff, techie stuff, and I know a lot of artists that have jumped from the artist ship onto like the kind of techie startup ship. I think there's less opportunity than there used to be, but that's not a reason not to come here and be part of all these amazing art scenes that are still like exist very much, and they're still very strong in Berlin. It's just not as cheap as it used to be to do that, which was one of the main draws to be an artist in Berlin, was the strong artist scene on whatever area of artistry that you might be involved with, but you could really live on a short, like very small budget. So if you're rich and want to be creative, Berlin's cool.
Do you have advice for someone who's not rich, who wants to come to Berlin?
Yeah, I say save up a tiny wee bit of money, do a bit of couch surfing, befriend some people who you can stay with, and totally immerse yourself in the art scene of your choice, and you will get to see for yourself how vibrant it is and how influential it is, and how like everyone in that particular scene of your choice will be so like-minded. And I think that's something that's really important, to surround yourself with like-minded people. And that is something that does exist in Berlin.